to Disney Odd Pod.
I'm Kat.
I'm Dee.
And this week, it's a lesson in finance mixed in with some hijinks featuring Tone Loc.
And Kat's dad. Blank Check from 1994.
From Walt Disney Pictures, this morning, Preston Waters got something that's going to change his life. Now, he's buying more stuff and more women.
Baby brother comes into his own.
And stopping 3 crooks.
But it gets you, kid!
From taking all of his money.
What the fuck? What do you mean, Kat's dad?
Wait. The dad is your dad.
The dad is not my dad.
You're not my dad!
What?
If your dad shaved every day, that is exactly what your dad looks like. Your dad is a movie star, which we've discussed 100 times.
My dad.
That guy looks just like your dad if he shaved every day.
Oh my god. I can't even. This movie might be the most 90s thing I've ever seen.
It might be the worst movie I've ever seen.
It might be the most fantastic thing you've ever seen.
There's nothing fantastic about this movie. This movie sucks.
No, it's bad. I know that this is nostalgia to like the 20th degree.
No, this is that Kat saw this movie 25 times.
Yeah.
And I saw it for the first time today and I want to throw up.
No, it's a pretty bad movie.
It's a bad movie.
I fully admit that, but
Oof.
I loved every second of it.
For initial thoughts, my first and only word is garbage. This movie is terrible.
It's pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. It's not. This is in no way a good movie. But if you were like me, you definitely saw this movie and you were like, "Oh my god, I want all the toys. I want all the things." He's
so cute.
And well, you know, if you're like a little kid, and there's a lot of things that are not right about this movie in a lot of ways, and a lot of things that don't make any sense about this movie. Especially now that I've purchased a house, I'm like, okay, this doesn't make any sense.
Papali.
This movie is a giant papali. Yeah. But let me read the synopsis really quick.
Yeah, do it.
Because I'm dying to see what Disney's synopsis of this Blank Check movie is. And it is on Disney Plus, by the way.
Of course.
Blank Check. Family comedy, 1994. All it takes is a little quick thinking and 11-year-old Preston Waters' life becomes $1 million adventure. When a crook runs over Preston's bike, he thinks it's his unlucky day. But when a quick settlement puts a bank check in his hand, he fills it with $1 million. Now Preston is rich beyond his wildest dreams. He's got his own pad, his own limo driver, and he's spending the money like there's no tomorrow. The only problem with having $1 million is keeping it, especially when the FBI and the bad guys are after the loot. Contains tobacco description.
Give me the loot. I don't recall the tobacco description.
No. He was smoking it during the real estate deal. Mr. Quigley.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
This movie is a lot. This movie's a lot of things.
It's not, I don't think it's a lot of things. I think it's a few things that it is, I don't think, an hour and a half movie. So, Rupert Wainwright, our director, the only other movie I've seen that he directed was Stigmata.
Oh, you did see that?
Oh, honey.
I don't even know what that is.
You want to talk about one of the cheesiest horror movies you've ever seen with Patricia Arquette?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah, you'll love it. You especially will love that movie. But
I just love how many MC Hammer music videos he directed. Like, he was obsessed with MC Hammer. All he did was direct MC Hammer music videos and then an MC Hammer movie. And, like, he just loved MC Hammer. He's all about it.
He was in the crew.
He's about it.
So, and then our writers, Blake Snyder and Colby Carr.
Mm-hmm. Nothing. This is literally all they did. Nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah. It was a big zero for the writers, and guess what? It showed throughout the movie.
You didn't buy the realism of this film?
Not even a little bit. So, our big star, Brian Bonsall, the child actor.
You know what I want? What I want is my own house. My rules. My money.
He was in Family Ties. There's that and this. And then now he's just gotten arrested a bunch of times
and done some random TV roles, and yeah, he's kind of a loser.
Well, no, he literally stopped acting in 1994, and then he did a short into 2018.
Yeah, he's a loser.
Yeah.
Like I said, loser.
But can we talk about Karen Duffy for a second?
So Karen Duffy is the ultimate 90s hot chick.
Correct, sir.
She is the quintessential.
That haircut.
Oh, I am 90s hot. She's in Independence Day. She's the same lady.
Oh, I didn't see Independence Day. I saw she was in Dumb and Dumber because she plays the henchman number 2 in Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, not henchman number 2. She is the main lady in Dumb and Dumber.
I mean, she's the
and she's the hot, the other hot lady in Dumb and Dumber, not... And I can't remember the other lady's name that Jim Carrey married.
Starts with an S. So swummy, slippy, slappy, slimmin, Simmons, Swanson?
Maybe it's on the briefcase. Look on the...
Oh, yeah! It's right here. Samsonite. I was way off.
But
yeah, she's the ultimate. She is...
Is she, though? I mean, that haircut is so bad.
For the 90s, that was the best.
Okay, fair enough. And then, apparently, my dad, James Rebhorn... He's just been in so many things. He's the ultimate, that guy from That Thing.
Big role in Independence Day as the Secretary of Defense, I think.
Yeah, he plays that kind of guy in a lot of movies.
He was in Mr. Ripley, but yeah, he just basically plays Kat's dad, which checks out if anybody knows Kat's dad.
Nobody knows my dad. It's fine.
Well, if that's how you feel about a gift from your parents, I don't see giving you a new one for your birthday.
He's not my dad.
Miguel Ferrer. He's the ultimate villain in most things.
Yeah. We talked about... He was in something else that we watched.
Yeah, because he's great. He is... All things aside in this movie, he's fantastic. He plays his thing.
But what was he? What was the other movie that we watched that he was in?
I don't know. I wrote down RoboCop and Twin Peaks.
Yeah, you know him from Twin Peaks, but
I feel like there was another movie we watched he was in.
Yeah, we talked about it.
But he's got to be like 18th listed.
Kid, talk to me. How much you want for the bike?
$1,000.
I'm not talking to you. Bye, kid. Go on, walk away.
Yeah, because he's been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, he's ubiquitous. If you look at this guy, you don't guess Miguel, but that's his name, and you're like, oh, that's Miguel Ferrer, and he plays the same exact bad guy in everything.
Don't forget about Tone Loc.
Tone Loc,
whatever. Yeah, I got that, but he plays the same character.
Called Medina.
Oh, I was thinking about the Wild Thing song, but
Wild Thing.
It's just ridiculous. If Tone Loc was a movie, he'd be this movie because he's real ridiculous.
This is peak Tone Loc easily.
Yeah, this is like the same year as Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. They came out at the same time.
He did both, even though this is disgusting to say. Tone Loc was more Tone Loc in this movie than he was in Ace Ventura.
But how Tone Loc is Tone Loc?
Very Tone Loc.
So much Tone Loc.
If you add those two songs together and then add the movies together, you'll understand how Tone Loc is.
Yeah, sweetheart, you look kind of good. They got your pearls and everything. You know, hate for something to have to happen to them. But look, my name is Juice.
And then we have Rick Ducommun. Yeah, he's like a poor man's Chris Farley.
He is the fucking best.
He's really funny.
Yeah, he's a very funny guy.
He's the best part of this movie.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
This is the best Rick Ducommun movie that there is.
You ever heard that more than one way to skin a cat? Have you heard that one? Who skins cats? Why would you skin a cat? And there is not more than one way to skin a cat. There is only one way to skin a cat. You grab the cat, you rip the skin off the cat. What is a number 2 way? Think about it. What do you put a hose up the cat's butt? He gets so bloated that he skins himself? What does he have a little piece of Velcro under his butt there? We just like unvelcro him? No.
And he is good in a lot of movies.
Yeah, he's I don't remember him in Encino Man, but he was in Encino Man.
He was the teacher in Encino Man.
I don't remember.
He was teaching the movie like, oh yeah, the guy in here, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he was very funny in Encino Man. And he was in Spaceballs, he's in Groundhog Day, he's in Die Hard, he's in all kinds of movies.
Yeah, he's a great, like, character actor.
This guy is a fucking master as a character.
Yeah, like...
But he only plays the same character. So don't get mixed up. But Ducommun is he's the MVP of this movie.
Yeah, no, he's great. I remember now, I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted a Henry Lino driver to drive me around. So really, okay, so all that this was being a kid watching this movie this is like every kid's fantasy life in this movie.
Right, but this kid's fantasy sucks. Right. Other than banging the older hot lady.
We'll get into that, but I can't even. That was definitely different watching that as an adult than watching that as a kid.
It checks out as a man, but okay.
Do you have any fun facts about this movie, D?
Of course.
I only found a couple. I had a hard time.
Yeah, I actually only found a couple too, and I think we already talked about it. That Karen D was in Dumb and Dumber, and Tone Loc was in Ace Ventura.
Oh, both Jim Carrey movies, I guess. Okay.
Same year.
Yeah. Well, they came out on the same weekend.
Yeah. The fact that this came out at the same time as Ace Ventura is exactly why I have no idea this movie exists.
I have every idea this movie exists.
I went to go see Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Such a great movie. It's a really great movie, by the way.
Oh, well, whoa, Kat. It's one of the top 10 movies of all time.
HGS, sir, coming through. Alrighty then. Snowflake, got a little snack for you. No, okay, sidebar though, the part where Ace Ventura is like on the thing, and it's like the Mission Impossible music is going, that's like my favorite part of the movie.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a mint? Okay. Sorry, I've seen that movie way too many times. Asshole yummy.
Oh, shit.
Okay. The worst case of hemorrhoids I have ever seen.
This is two episodes in a row where a completely unrelated movie has completely disrupted the whole podcast.
Anyways, sorry.
But although Rick Ducommun is in Spaceballs, the last thing that we...
Oh yeah, with Chris Farley, what's his face?
Rick Moranis, or Bill Pullman, or John Candy.
John Candy, yeah. The amusement park at the beginning is Six Flags Fiesta in Texas.
San Antonio.
That was one of
mine.
Except for this is supposed to take place in Indiana. Indiana apparently has some very weird weather because
white people.
Yeah, because one of the oops was that it goes from pool scenes to wearing long sleeve sweatshirts and long sleeve jackets, but it's supposed to take place in Indiana, even though they're at Texas theme park. I don't know.
I couldn't track that. I was actually hoping to never go through the plot.
It'll be quick. There's a lot of montages.
Not only is there a lot of montages. So we open this movie with a prison break.
And yet nobody chases him throughout the entire movie.
Nobody chases him ever.
It's weird, right? It's weird. And I didn't think...
It makes no sense.
He digs up his money. Good thing he has his welding tools handy that we're just chilling.
Yeah, he has an oxyacetylene torch to fucking rip something up. Yeah, give me a break.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, but that was really funny to me.
It was stupid.
I remember watching this as a kid and being like, oh my god, it's so dramatic. He's running from the police. Yeah. And so that's dramatic, and you're like, oh god, what's the money for? And then all of a sudden we jump to this kid where he has these asshole big brothers who are just moving their shit into his room.
Right, because he has this rich kid dad who's like, oh, entrepreneurs rule. Get the fuck out of here, kid.
Okay. This is just not right. That's not right. They have their own room. Steve Jobs worked out of his fucking garage. So I'm saying, you got no, that's not right.
But this guy is so hardcore that he kicks his own kid out of his own room to let his entrepreneur, quote-unquote, kids...
hand and foot, whatever that means.
Make their money in that other kid's room, because fuck that other kid.
And gives them a computer, but yet they don't know how to use...
Computers.
They don't know how to use a computer at all.
Yeah. And they made the business without knowing how to use the computer at all, which wasn't a thing then.
Then he's like, oh, you gotta go to this rich kid's birthday party at this theme park.
Oh, no, the kid wasn't rich. He's just a regular kid.
Well, but his dad's like, here's $5.
Well, yeah, his dad was a fucking douche.
And it's just kind of depressing, because it's just there's a very long montage of all the other kids going on all the rides with all the tokens, and he doesn't have money, and they're all like, oh, Preston, fuck you! Like, it's a long intro montage of that.
It really is. And then he goes to open a bank account after this.
Well, yeah, because he gets a check from his grandma.
That's blank.
And his dad writes in $11.
Yeah, his dad is a fucking douchebag.
And this is where he meets Shay, the hot, what we think is a bank teller, but she's actually more than a bank teller.
She's an FBI agent.
But we don't know that yet. We don't know that yet.
Yeah, but he needs a minimum balance of $200, which he doesn't have. So then he gets run over by the bad guy, Mr. Quigley.
Well, but before that, Mr. Quigley goes up to...
Oh, yeah, he intimidates
this is important.
The guy.
Yeah, he goes up to Mr. Biederman or whatever.
Biederman, yeah.
And says, like, I'm going to have a guy coming tomorrow.
Juice.
To pick up this, to give you a check for $1 million cash. And you're going to give him the cash. And that's going to be that.
That's that.
But then when he goes out, he's racing through the parking lot. And then that's where he runs over Preston. And he sees the cops. So he panics and signs a blank check and gives it to Preston.
To the kid. And the kid is smart enough to cash it for $1 million.
It just was like, he types it in the computer and it magically fits, like, perfectly on the check line. Like...
I feel this is exactly what was wrong with my childhood, is I thought that people could figure that out when it wasn't true. And I just thought, oh, people knew how to do this, so I shouldn't bother with computers because I don't know how to do that. But it turns out, oh, nobody knew how to do that. It was kind of a misnomer.
It's just, it's so fake. Nobody would buy this kid's gonna cash $1 million check. Like, come on.
Oh, wait, let me check here, kid. Oh, no, we're not gonna give you $1 million cash.
No.
Maybe in 4 weeks.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Because, yeah, it's just ridiculous. But so the lady's like, ha ha ha, I'll take you up to Mr. Biederman.
And it was like some angry old cunt, like usual, what you would expect at a bank.
Yeah, and Mr. Biederman thinks that he's Juice because he's like,
he's like, hey, are you Juice? You're Juice? Yeah, oh yeah.
And it's like, because he says, oh, it's so brilliant. Oh my gosh, it's so brilliant. Yeah, you're, it's perfect. It's a perfect, ruse that he's going to fool the police to take this kid to get all this money. So he just gives him all the money. Meanwhile, the real Juice is coming to get the money.
Yeah.
So the kid goes away, and the real Juice is, like, not amused with any of this. He's in his Tone Loc.
Tone Loc,
sorry, whatever.
Loc.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry that I mispronounced Tone Loc, a true treasure of our time. My bad.
He was.
My bad.
You might as well have called him JB Smooth.
Sorry. Is it Dougie Doug? I don't know. Anyways. So he's doing a smooth talk and they realize, and then Biedermeier's like, the kid, and there's running, and then the kid's running through the streets and jumping in puddles, and he's like, yeah, money!
My backpack is cool.
How did he fit $1 million in his backpack? That's what I really want to know. In tens.
In tens and 20s, it's not possible. In hundreds, I don't really think it's possible.
It's a backpack. Like,
it was a very small, green Fjallraven backpack, I don't think you can do that.
No. On his way home, he stops and sees a listing for a house that looks like a fucking castle.
He's like, oh, that's my house. I'm checking it off the box.
And so he's going to call to make an offer on the house using his Macintosh computer. But meanwhile, the same guy who wrote the blank check is trying to buy this house. Like, why would this guy go and, like, go to Mexico or something? Like, I don't get this movie.
Papali.
It's just, like, hijinks, right?
It's pure Papali. Like, it's completely made up dumb shit.
So,
because, of course, if you were a criminal who had a bunch of extra money, I wouldn't even go to Mexico. I'd go to, like, Colombia,
like,
Argentina.
Why would you even have to deal with this whole shit with the bank? Like, I get the bills.
You wouldn't, because you'd get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it seemed like a whole bunch of extra shenanigans. And so there's a weird bidding war on the house. And this is just like, maybe it's the 90s. Maybe it's because it's Indiana. You can buy this fucking castle for like $200,000 or whatever.
He bought it for $300,000.
No, but that was like over what they were asking.
It was well over.
And it's like, having purchased a house, all the paperwork and shit you have to go through, because they're like, what is your name, sir? And he's Mr. Macintosh.
My name is Macintosh.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Macintosh. You have a house.
I feel like during the 90s, and especially prior to the subprime mortgages, this could have happened. I don't know, suspect. Just it's sus? Are you gonna call it sus, Kelly?
It's a little sus.
Okay.
Quigley, the villain, he goes to the bank and he's interrogating Biedermeier. He's like, no. And I didn't do this. I didn't write any other check. And then he realizes, oh, I did give that kid a blank check because I'm a fucking moron.
Right.
You know why?
Right.
Because no police are fucking chasing me through this entire movie.
Right. He hasn't ended up in jail just being a public figure.
Right. And we realize at this point the bank teller, Shay, is undercover. Oh my god.
Yeah, she's the undercover FBI, and he's the limo kid. Are introduced to the big pimp,
Henry.
The
limo driver. And there's the ultimate 90s shopping montage.
Oh, yeah.
Featuring Sharper Image. What is more 90s than Sharper Image?
I can't think of much, but you are correct.
Yes.
90s Sharper Image is like...
No, they're like... They're buying everything.
Yeah.
He's buying everything. And then at night, Shay's running on the side of the road and they pull over and I'm like, ew!
Sweaty bitch. Hot.
No,
yeah,
like, what? His kid's like 11. What are you doing? Like, how would she even recognize him? And there's a weird exchange and he's like, oh, my boss, Mr. Macintosh. And she's like, okay, whatever.
My boss Dick.
And the next day, he has purchased enough stuff for a whole country in this house.
Yeah, he has like every snack company, which is just such a 90s trope. Like, oh, I'm going to order Nabisco things to my thing.
Oh my god, so many Oreos.
Yeah.
And they're blocking the street and his dad's like all upset and he's like, hey dad, oh, I work for Mr. Macintosh. I'm 11 years old, but I have a job now.
And I gotta do my thing, but that's what Mr. Macintosh wants. Or Mr. Waters wants.
Yeah, it's not weird at all that his kid would be hanging out with some middle-aged, unknown mystery man.
Right, but he wants him to have a job, so it doesn't matter.
He's just... 90s parenting at its best.
Papali.
And then there's another montage where he's getting all the shit and it's I want candy, and he's basically playing with all of his toys with Henry, who's apparently a limo driver on retainer.
It's a bitches be shopping scene.
Yeah, they're going through the water slide, they're playing with the giant boxing gloves, they're jumping in sumo suits, they're doing all the things.
Yeah, they're looking for the kid in the amusement park.
Right, and it's like a water slide park, and they're like, this could look weird. We could look like child rapists.
Yeah, we're the molesters. Oh my goodness.
And he's not there, obviously, because he has his own water slide at home.
Yeah.
Shay, the bank teller, FBI agent, like, comes to the house, and she's like, I need Mr. Macintosh, and, oh, let's go on a date tonight, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, I'll go on a date with you, prepubescent boy, it's fine.
Yeah. As long as you open an account.
Right. And he's like, I'll send a car for you. So This might be the most 90s trope ever, where people are like, I'll send a car for you. I'll pick you up at this time, but there's no addresses exchanged ever.
Right.
And there's no cell phones. So how would you know?
You would never know. And there was no Uber back then where you could be like, yo, Papali.
Yeah.
Go pick this guy up.
It's just questionable. And then there's a weird scene where Henry is giving Preston like dating advice about women and about how he needs to get a hot body.
Oh, women love that. Women love a great body. They love, look at this body. You get home and you got a pocket full of hot wings.
And there's another 90s montage of them like boxing and getting Preston in shape and doing all this stuff. And it's a little weird.
Yeah, and he has some personal questions, and then they have like the fountain day next, right?
Well, okay, so he like tricks his dad into going on this date because he's like, oh, Mr. McIntosh wants to see your prospectus, da-da-da-da. But then when he's on the date, they're in a fancy restaurant at first with Shay. He gives her a fancy necklace, and then he freaks out or something, and then he's like, do you like hamburgers? And so they go eat hamburgers, and then they're running through the fountains. And,
this is where the water sports come in.
And it's just so many fountains, and they're running all over the place, and she's like, oh my god, it's so much fun, haha! The date is very uncomfortable, because, keep in mind, she's 32. They established...
At best.
No, during the fancy dinner, he asked, like, how old she was, and she said 32.
Yeah.
And he's 11.
And he's like, I'm my first guy. I'm just the worker, Papali.
And the bad guys show up, and they see him, because apparently fountains are where kids hang out. Then he's running, and the bad guys chase him, and they fall in the fountains, and oh my god, da-da-da-da. And then he's like, hey, come to my party on Friday. And she's like, okay, great. I'll come to your party on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, because then the next day, he's like party planning.
And he's working for Macintosh.
Right, for quote Macintosh.
Unquote.
And nobody's going to question why they haven't seen this adult man. Then the party planner is all like, oh, hey, give me this money. And she just like takes money out of his backpack. He goes to the park and he's watching all the other kids play. And then the bad guys show up and they're chasing him through the park.
Chasing who?
Preston. They're chasing him through the park. It's a very long, drawn-out scene where Tone Loc has to run through the park and find him. And he loses his bag of money, and then he doesn't lose his bag of money. It's a very, very long chase scene. After that is where they grab that kid, and they're holding him over the building, and he's like, oh, he lives at this address, da-da-da-da. It's that same kid from the beginning, the kid with the birthday party. So after the chase scene, it's like the party. Like, they go to the party at the house.
Okay.
So there's this big party, and I'm like, there's all these guests showing up, but like, who are these guests that are showing up to this party?
They're just rich people.
But like, who are they? They don't know who Mr. McIntosh is.
Everybody let out the invite.
Apparently, but like, who are they? And undercover Shay shows up to the party because she's like gonna find McIntosh because apparently Mr. McIntosh is the target now for this money laundering thing.
Well, he's the big money man.
Yeah, which is just there's no info on that at all.
Of course.
Preston gets the bill from the party planner and he can't pay for it.
Nope, and he has the gross apology scene with his dad.
Well, yeah, because his dad is, like, talking to what he thinks is, quote, Mr. McIntosh, and then he's like, no, blah, 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 Dad, don't come back, Daddy.
The villains are like, let's do it.
Yeah, they show up, and, because the party's already over, because the party planner's like, everybody out, he can't play his bill, da-da-da. And then there's a Home Alone-esque sort of end scene where the party planners are chasing him and he gets the the bad guys are chasing him.
Well, yeah, he explains the whole deal and everybody's chasing him.
Yeah, it's, he's shooting balls at Tone Loc. He's doing all this stuff, and then there's like a weird scene where Mr. Quigley is like flipping all these tables all over the place trying to find him.
And maybe he's Macintosh, but maybe not.
Yeah, no, because they're all like, hey, this kid's invented an identity for you. Like, you could be Mr. McIntosh.
You're the Mac.
Yeah, right? And then at the end, when Quigley's grabbing the kid, then the FBI shows up and they're like, who's Mr. McIntosh? And Quigley's like, I'm Mr. McIntosh, get off my property. And they're like, Mr. McIntosh, you're under arrest.
Yeah.
Not you, Mr. Quigley, who escaped from prison, but Mr. Fake Macintosh, you're under arrest.
Yeah, it was an epic cell phone.
It's, yeah. And then inside the house, Shay, the 32-year-old FBI agent, decides to kiss 11-year-old Preston.
Yeah, she's gonna fuck the kid.
On the lips. And she's like, call me in 10 years, or 6 years, 5 years.
No,
and I'm like, that would still be underage.
She's fucking that kid now.
It's not weird at all. It's not, no, there's nothing strange about it.
Wait a minute. So that means our date? Just for your job?
Well, it started out like that.
I should have known.
Hey, I wouldn't have traded that night for anything.
There's a goodbye scene outside with Henry and Preston, the limo driver and Preston, and then he goes home and his family has a cake for him and he's like, I got everything I want. My life is great.
You kids suck.
I'm gonna blow up my birthday candles.
And then I'm gonna fuck my girlfriend.
Yeah, because he sees the picture of her on his, taped on his wall. He's like, oh.
Good, Papali.
Yeah, and that's the end of the movie. And there's no consequences at all.
Yeah. None.
Nope.
Ever.
Nothing at all. So this movie had some 90s music. So I feel like that Money song in some version or another, like Money, like has been in a ton of movies.
I agree, and it's terrible, and I don't want to talk about it.
I want candy. Yeah, lots of stuff like that.
I feel like that has been in like a Disney movie.
I mean, yeah, because they're trying to get you to buy more Mickey bars. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, just a lot of 90s. So there was a lot of montages in this movie.
A lot of faff.
Yeah, a lot of montages in this movie. Like a ton of them. Our characters, we have Preston.
Yeah, Preston, the little kid boy who's like...
Yeah, he's like just kind of a spoiled little asshole.
He's a bitch.
A little bit. But I mean, what 11-year-old isn't, right?
Yeah.
And Shay Stanley, the not creepy FBI agent in any way, who's turned on by an 11-year-old.
Who doesn't want to fuck children ever except for most of the time.
No, never. His douchey dad.
Yeah, Cat's dad.
He's not my dad, okay?
I think he kind of is.
Oh my god. No.
We're gonna put it up to the judges.
I'm not posting a picture of my dad.
Well, not to the crowd, but I'm gonna put it up to the real people who know.
Okay, well we'll see about that.
Yeah.
And then Henry, the limo driver, who apparently just works for free.
The best. No, he paid him early. He gave him like $10,000 early on.
Did he though? Yeah, but he just like kept hanging out with him, like he's just on retainer all the time.
He's like, hey kid, blah blah blah.
Yeah, he's just there. So the cinematography was
terrible. It was terrible. It was bad for the 90s.
It's very
it was okay-ish for the 80s.
I mean, it's very like made for TV movie. Like that's why I was like, did this movie come out in theaters? But it did.
Yeah, it did.
But it could have been a Disney Channel original movie easily. Lots of product placement in this movie. Lots of it. Sega, Sharper Image, all that stuff.
Did you find a Moochie moment in this
movie? I said, hey, you know what you got? STYLE. Style. They said it like twice. Like they had been saying it for years, like old friends.
I can't, and I won't.
I still remember that. Like I could have probably quoted that before I watched this movie. Because it was so there.
Yeah. Do you got any remake vibes?
Maybe there's a sequel where Preston's like, hey Shay, it's 7 years later, you told me to call you, I'm calling you. And she's like, no, I'm a crazy crack whore now, like don't call me.
I just feel like you could have left a little more meat on the bone and had a better kid than this. It just seemed like from a long view you could have made this a little better.
There's definitely a lot of room for opportunity. And yeah, like, especially since 90s movies are like the pinnacle of like cute kid actors, you could have picked somebody better, I think. I have a lot of thoughts about this movie. That's fine.
Do you have any final thoughts? Kat?
If you're like me and you watch this movie, you'll enjoy it. Never seen it before because it's not a good movie. You're not going to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's true. I'm going to just go ahead and say fuck this movie.
Wow, it's been a while since we've had one of those. You didn't even, like, appreciate its stupidness at all?
No.
Oh my god.
Fuck this movie.
I still appreciate this movie's stupidness. I found it highly enjoyable.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
So...
Would watch again.
So with that, Kat, what would you rate this movie?
So I wanted to rate it higher, but I know that it's not a good movie, so I had to hold back a little bit because I know that this is not a good movie. So I gave it a 50%.
Ooh, that is so high. Oh my god.
That's not as high as I really would rate it. But
I give this movie a 13%. This movie is fucking hot garbage. Fire garbage.
A 13%? You didn't enjoy any of it? Oh my god.
No, the kid in this movie, I can't. He's awful. Like, fuck this kid.
Oh my god. Well, Shay already got that covered for you. So.
Well, no, Shay, I would, yeah. That's a different story. What do you think the critics gave this movie?
It's not good. Because I am aware that this is a not good movie, but I'm okay with my 50%, because it's all nostalgia. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to say like a 27%.
Critics gave this 9%.
Whoa! The critics gave this 9. That's one of the lowest ratings I think we've ever seen.
And the people gave it 34.
Yeah,
so
people. There you go.
A little more in line, but
it's not a good movie.
This is awful.
I'm aware of that, and I'm okay with that.
What did you rate it?
50%.
Whoa.
I enjoyed the movie.
So now it's time for Kat's
favorite part of the podcast?
Oh, yeah, always. Yeah. Of course. I mean, what? Come on. What's the matter with you? This time we got number 132.
Ooh, okay. So this is older.
Older? Yeah. We got any guesses on where it's at?
Is it in the 80s?
Not quite.
70s?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I can't.
So, number 132 from the late 70s is Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo. Let's go.
Shut up.
Right before Goes Bananas. Let's do it.
I can't with this. Okay, you know this is where...
Do you think those two meathead guys are in this?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So that's why I was like, what? I can't.
What? The two meathead dumbasses? And no Cloris Leachman? This has to be the worst Herbie.
I don't know.
Because there's no... Well, what are you going to do to make up for Cloris Leachman and the captain?
I don't know. Maybe Betty White will make an appearance. I don't fucking know.
Oh, Polly. Good point. So, if you'd like to like, subscribe, check out, share this podcast,
leave us a review. That would be groovy.
Disney Odd Pod.
Yeah. And, do the thing. Send us the things.
Yeah, if you want to send us an email, disneyoddpod@gmail.com.
Like, subscribe, share, leave us a review. Yeah.
Yeah, any of it. But in the meantime, this has been Disney Odd Pod.
I'm Kat.
I'm Dee.
Bye!
Yeah, exactly.
All right. We're going to order food later. Do you want anything?
What do you order?
I don't know yet.
But you...
Well, just tell me when you go.
That was a good shot. That was a good shot.
You did a good job on that one. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited about this episode.
I'm sure.
That beer really is so good. You gonna try it again?
No, but let's just reflect on how bad the last beer was.
It was really bad. No, like literally, I tasted it and I was like...
I've never had to dump out a beer.
Yeah, it's bad.
That was disgusting.
It's bad. I know. That's why I was like, I have to dump this out.
It's a first. That was awful.
Yeah, it's it's bad.
Okay. Are you ready? If I do the countdown?